So the theme is no free will. And so obviously, I know I kind of have to answer the question, why did I delete my other account and disappear for a few days? But the real truthful answer is, I don't know. Um, yeah, I made the decision, but I don't know why I made the decision. I have a lot of theories, but they don't, to me at least, seem to really explain why I did it. I could give a million excuses, and I've thought of a million excuses, but that's what they are. They're excuses. They're rationalizations of a decision which occurred, but that I don't particularly as, an awareness right now, have any idea how. Um, I could say I made the decision only because it's obvious that, well, nobody else made it. I was the one that deleted the account. This body, this source of movement, this verb, human being, becoming, human becoming, maybe that's a better way of putting it, made a decision. But there's no I that's really responsible for. So, and maybe that whole spiel I just gave there was my excuse as well. So, there you have it. I don't know if I'll get off of that easy, but free will. So there's no I. So there can't be free will. And the I isn't, there are many words to use for self, there's I, there's ego, there's superego, there's, you have an unconscious self, you have a shadow self, you have an anima self. So the I is not synonymous with the general word self, What we mean, I think, Nick, the modern mystic at least, and I, who've been having a little bit of a conversation about this through messages, mean by the I is that mind which is separate from the body, that allows you to believe in whatever you want to believe in, have thoughts about whatever you want to have thoughts about, to choose freely what you're going to pay attention to. That idea of there being a discrete locus of control, which you are, that gets to choose what you believe and what you want and desire, that is an illusion. Your desires, your emotions, your feelings, your ideas, your thoughts, your justifications, your excuses, these are things that happen, and there's no essential individual inside your body deciding to have those. That's what we mean by the I. There's no free will as an ego or an I or a self which has desires, which wants things. What you want is not under your control. It's more of a compulsion. All of your desires, any movement you make to grab the world, whether it's, a physical action or a mental action, nobody is deciding to do that. It happens. Not necessarily determined by the outside. It's just as much determined by the inside. But it just happens. And it keeps happening, and certainly the past is related to the future. And when we look into the past, we realize, wow, I didn't control any of that. When we're in the moment, we don't know what we are. And if we look into the future, do we not know what we are? Well, we have to know what we are in the future, or we have to at least believe we're going to be something in the future. It seems, okay, to know where we are now, we need to understand our past enough to be able to project our future. And without both of those contexts to sort of situate you in time and space, you don't really know who you are, or what that I that you supposedly are is. You know, I said before, we don't know where we are when we're in the now, and we don't understand how the process of a decision occurs. We can look back at the past decisions and sort of see the factors, the causal relations that led to that particular decision. But we can never predict an actual decision. There's too many possibilities. So, what does this mean now? There's no I. There's no free will. There is no controller. I don't know what that means. It means you can't escape because you're not trapped. You can't die because you were never born. There's no beginning or end to anything. And when Nick says we have to get rid of nouns and the verbing describing the world as an activity, a process, is more accurate than pointing at objects. At the same time, we have to admit that being determined means being something concrete, something, a thing, a noun. But if everything is a verb and a process, then everything is a happening. No one it's happening to, and nothing to be done by anybody. And I've said a lot. Half of it may not even make sense. And that seems to be the problem with language when you try to get out of the inherent circle of language itself. If you want to use language to lead people to the truth, or to the exit of the endless circling of existence, if you want to know the truth and have a stable point of view, you got to kind of get out of that loop. And we try to use language to do this, but language is fundamentally a part of the loop. It's a vibration of sound. How could that possibly lead you anywhere beyond the space in which that sound takes place? How can a representation contain the presentation? What's there in and of itself before we start to try to describe it? So, the question becomes, why even open your mouth at all? And I guess for the same reason that there is anything created at all. God or the universe could just as well have not given birth to itself. Why did it give birth to itself? I don't know, but maybe it's the same reason that human beings can't seem to shut up.